In the US, it is estimated that by 2030, nearly 1 in 2 adults will be obese, with almost 1 in 4 predicted to be morbidly obese. As a result, it can be said that current strategies aren't enough to combat obesity's ever escalating trajectory, and that new, innovative, radical ideas are needed to help keep this crisis under control. Accordingly, there's perhaps no more ideal candidate for the job than the man behind two of the most cutting-edge companies in the world, Tesla Motors and SpaceX, Elon Musk. And, as it happens, he has actually mentioned in interviews that one of his other pioneering companies, Neuralink, intends to do exactly that and tackle obesity eventually, after initially approaching neurological conditions like paralysis and blindness. But what is Neuralink? How does it work? And what does the literature suggest about the possibility? Well, today we answer all these questions. But first, as always, please take note of our disclaimer. Neuralink is a neural technology company that was put together by Elon Musk and a team of engineers in 2016, with the goal of developing advanced brain-computer interface technology. Basically, Neuralink's device, about the size of a coin, is embedded into the skull, which has neural threads that fan out into different sections of a subject's brain. The way it could help as it pertains to adiposity is by incorporating elements from another brain-computer interface technology, deep brain stimulation, where impulses generated from the implanted electrodes help regulate abnormal brain activity. The use of electrical stimulation to modify brain activity dates back to ancient times, when electrical fish were actually used to treat things like headaches and seizures. But the genesis of modern deep brain stimulation technology began in the mid-1940s. So even though Neuralink itself only got approved by the US Food and Drug Administration for human trials in May 2023, deep brain stimulation is already a well-established treatment for several conditions, like Parkinson's disease, dystonia, and essential tremor. In fact, recent estimates have proposed that already nearly 250,000 DBS devices have been implanted globally. The American Association of Neurological Surgeons states that in patients who are properly selected, the intervention is safe. Yet how could Neuralink, with the adoption of deep brain stimulation, help one reduce their weight exactly? But just on a quick side note, if you'd like to undertake our evidence-based and results-backed personalized Plato weight management program, please click the link in the top right-hand corner of the video or follow the link in the description. It's been proposed that deep brain stimulation may be advantageous for weight through its influence on primarily three regions in the brain: the ventral medial hypothalamus, lateral hypothalamic area, and the nucleus accumbens. The ventral medial hypothalamus, also known as the satiety center of the brain, plays an important role in our appetite and is also involved in regulating metabolism. So by changing its neural activity, it may correct dysfunctions that lead to overeating while increasing the amount of calories we burn day to day. The first study to examine this effect was by Hamani et al. In 2008. In it, the researchers implanted deep brain stimulation into the ventral hypothalamus of one 50-year-old man who was morbidly obese with a BMI of 55. The results showed that without any considerable dietary changes, the patient lost 12 kilograms. What's interesting is that when the device was turned off at night because the participant had trouble sleeping with it, he then began to eat more at that time of the day, which eventually led to weight gain. However, a more recent and slightly larger study composed of 6 subjects carried out in Brazil, investigating the impact of deep brain stimulation on the ventral medial hypothalamus, found that even though one of them successfully lost over 100 pounds, most didn't lose much, if any. Next, the lateral hypothalamic area, alternatively known as the feeding center in the brain, has neurons that influence how full people are, and also has a controlling function of metabolic processes. So deep brain stimulation on the lateral hypothalamic area may work to support weight like its effects on the ventral medial hypothalamus could. Although the lateral hypothalamic area is also connected to the brain's reward and motivation pathways, which influence the desire to eat, as well as how pleasant the actual eating experience is. Consequently, changing the neural activity in this region may have the added benefit of decreasing the rewarding experience of food intake, helping limit overeating, and ultimately helping manage weight better. 2013 was the year when the first study on lateral hypothalamus stimulation concerning weight was carried out. In it, 3 subjects who met the criteria of not responding to conventional weight loss treatment underwent bilateral lateral hypothalamic area deep brain stimulation as part of an FDA-approved pilot study. While the primary investigation of the study was safety rather than weight loss, it did show that at 35-month follow-up, 2 of the patients lost over 10% of their baseline body weight, while 1 had a decrease in binge eating behaviours. And the study concluded that the intervention could indeed be applied safely to obese persons. In comparison, another study with 2 obese subjects who didn't respond to treatment explored lateral hypothalamic area deep brain stimulation by way of a 4-day metabolic examination. Interestingly, it was found that with optimal stimulation settings, their participants were found to have an increase of 20% and 16% in the calories they burned at rest. Lastly, we have the nucleus accumbens. Unlike the other 2 regions in the brain though, this isn't proposed to help weight through either better appetite hormone regulation or increased metabolism. Rather, it shares with the lateral hypothalamic area an effect on reward and motivation pathways, with the addition of being involved with impulse control. A pilot study in 2022 found that when 2 women with binge eating disorders and grade 3 obesity were given deep brain stimulation for the nucleus accumbens, they showed a decrease in the reported frequency of loss of control eating events and lowered their baseline weight to 4.5% and 5.8% by 6-month follow-up, without giving instruction or guidance on a dietary plan. Another study by Harrett et al. In 2016 found that in a 19-year-old woman who chose deep brain stimulation surgery for the nucleus accumbens over bariatric, her BMI was reduced from 53 to 48 with around 13 kilos lost in weight. So overall, given these studies we've gone through on deep brain stimulation, it does seem that Neuralink does indeed have the future potential to be refined into a new obesity treatment intervention that's safe. However, it's important to point out that all of these studies have only been carried out on very small sample sizes so far, with some mixed findings. Therefore, research in the field has a long way to go before that can happen. Have you any thoughts on this? We'd love to hear from you in the comment section down below. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. So that has been our video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.